Hello everyone, we are here at the Hockenheimring. Wow, only 3 more races to go in this season. We're super excited. It's a fascinating track, a spectacular track here at Hockenheimring. We've got fans here and we've got a really amazing battle because it's between these two, between Kelvin Van Der Linde and Liam Lawson. They both have 188 points, but because Kelvin has won 1 more race, he's leading the championship. We just saw him with a big grin on his face. He seems to be in good spirits. And this man here is already sitting in the car, so ready for this qualifying. That's Liam Lawson. So he's sitting in his car, he's all ready, that's for sure. And it's going to be a very exciting qualifying, so let's see what these boys can do. It's all about the championship, so now let's get qualifying, and here's your commentator.
Much indeed, Verena. Morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 here at Hockenheim. And if it's anywhere near as exciting as yesterday, it's going to be an absolute cracker. 3 qualifying sessions to go, 3 races to go, and only 7 days remaining in the championship now with these back-to-back weekends here at Hockenheim. And around the streets of the Norris Ring in a weekend's time, which will be, in fact, counted as the home race for Abt Sportsline, who are based down in Kempten in Bavaria. But big question marks over who's going to be competitive there, because there hasn't been a GT car race around the streets of the Norris Ring for many a year. So real question marks over who's going to be competitive next weekend. It's a very different kind of circuit. So if you are on the pace here, you've got to make the most of this weekend. So there, Maxi Götz, who battled with fading brakes in the race yesterday. At one point looked like he might just be able to hang on to a podium position, but in the end fell back to 5th place. However, because Marco Wittmann didn't score any points yesterday, retired from the race with damage after being involved in the lap 1 collision down at turn 6, he has moved equal on points with Marco. There's Vincent Abral's team radio, who was very competitive on Friday and decent qualifying session, but faded a little bit on the restart yesterday, lost some places, but still got into the points, the Monegasque racer. So after yesterday, the championship is, as described by Verena, tighter than impossible, really, with Kelvin Van Der Linde and Liam Lawson on exactly the same points. Kelvin's had 4 wins, Liam's had 3. That's why Kelvin is put to the top of the table. Marco Wittmann stayed on 165 points, and as I said, Maxi Götz, although he only got 5th place, managed to equal points with Marco. But again, Marco's got more wins, 2-1, so he's placed above Maxi for 3rd in the championship. Just not quite had the pace with the BMW here. Got a little bit better in qualifying yesterday compared to where he was, which was near the back, really, during the practice sessions on the old tyres. But Marco Wittmann only managed to qualify in 13th place yesterday. There, Liam Lawson, who was half a lap away from getting a podium and keeping the championship lead yesterday until Mike Rockenfeller, who'd come from 17th on the grid and with about 15 minutes to go put some fresh Michelin tyres on as the last of the pit stoppers, came charging through the field. First he overtook Maxi Götz, and then with a fairly robust move he got past Liam Lawson, with Liam then not best pleased about that move, it seemed, with the conversation that was going on straight after the drivers got out of the cars. And Mike Rockenfeller was asked about that in the press conference afterwards. He said, "Go on then, tell us what was Liam saying to you?" And he said, "Well, maybe," and bearing in mind Mike Rockenfeller speaks perfect English, "maybe my English isn't so good, but I think he was congratulating me on an excellent overtaking move," with a twinkle in his eye. And then he shrugged and said, "What do you want me to say?" He wasn't very happy. But, you know, I wasn't very happy with him at the Nürburgring. And as he said in the interview with Verena, racing drivers tend to remember things like that. So it was all starting to get a little bit tense at the end of the race. The only positive, apart from the fact that he, of course, lost the trophy and lost 3 valuable championship points, the only positive for Liam is that he sheds weight on the car, because had he finished in the top 3, he'd have had, for 3rd place, 15 kilograms of success ballast to carry in the race. Instead, for finishing 4th, he'll have no ballast. Kelvin Van Der Linde will carry 25 kilograms after winning his 4th race yesterday, but not in qualifying. Then he carried the ballast in the race. And bearing in mind, Kelvin has been really 4/10 quicker than anybody so far this weekend in pretty much every session. He's still got a chance here for pole position.
Engine, 10 seconds to green.
So the signal given over the radio there, the clock ticks down to 0. 20 minutes of qualifying about to get underway then. Chris Hartley here to talk you through this final qualifying session of the weekend here at Hockenheim ahead of the race this afternoon to set the grid And there, after a misfire in qualifying yesterday, that man, Kelvin Van Der Linde, will be hoping that his teammate, Mike Rockenfeller, can get a bit higher up the grid. There's another of his teammates for the weekend, Lucas de Grassi, number 37, the 2016-2017 Formula E champion. The two Ferraris follow. Excellent drive by Alex Albon yesterday. He also benefited from a car which came alive on the second set of tyres.
Tyres on the right side and new tyres left side.
Copy.
So new tyres on the left side of the car we get from the team radio. Used tyres on the right side of the car for this first run. Remember, you can't just simply bolt a new set of slicks on every time you go out in DTM. You only get 3 sets to use for 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races, which are split into 2 parts with the mandatory pit stop. A bit like yesterday, Max Scotts is slightly late on parade, deliberately so, waiting for a gap in the circuit to go out. Gets the call on the team radio to head out, takes the HRT Mercedes out onto the circuit. It's been saying we need to find about a tenth and a half in qualifying to make life easy, but he was really having to battle yesterday to try to keep Liam Lawson and Mike Rockenfeller behind him. Wasn't quite able to do so. So then Mike Rockenfeller didn't go out apart from on a recce lap in the first half of qualifying yesterday, because he had this misfire and went out and put a lap in, but not a very competitive one. But the car was very quick in the race. And it was a difficult, well, mixed day for rover racing yesterday. And Sheldon Van Der Linde with another retirement. And Timo Glock, though, managing to get into the points and managed to get through the carnage at the start of the race. There was contact into turn 1, Nico Muller and Arjun Miney. There was big contact down at turn 6, where Arjun Miney got down the inside of Liam Lawson. Couldn't slow the car down in time and went into the side of Lucas Auer to put both cars out of the race. And the concertina afterwards damaged other cars as well. Nico Muller got more damage. Marco Wittmann got more damage, which affected the car later on. Dev Gore was another one that got caught up in it. So the cars build up speed for a couple of laps. It's much more autumnal today than it has been for the first 2 days here at Hockenheim. So the sun has disappeared. There's a question mark over whether there might be some rain this afternoon, but the latest forecasts I looked at said that there might be a bit of rain, but after the race. But it does keep changing, so we'll keep you up to date on that. But for now, it's cloudy and overcast, but there are no threatening clouds. Still fairly warm at 17.7 degrees. But the track temperature is cooler than it was yesterday, 18.7 degrees. On board with Liam Lawson then, who relinquished the championship lead yesterday, but still very much in the fight, with still at the end of the weekend 56 championship points available. 81 at the end of this qualifying session. Liam Lawson, the points leader, has had an excellent run in qualifying of late. No reason why he can't continue that. Been in the top 3 in qualifying, both times at Red Bull Ring, both times at Assen, and yesterday as well. There's René Rast, 3-time DTM champion, spent this year racing competitively in the Formula E Championship, but he's been here with DTM a couple of times. Lucas Auer getting a bit of a slide on. Team Winwood have got the car repaired, and that is a pretty decent first couple of sectors. I'm not sure it's going to be the fastest lap of the entire session, but it's a good benchmark that he's about to lay down. 138.67 seconds. We'll get quicker than that into the 136s yesterday for Kelvin Van Der Linde. That's a pretty decent first lap. You'd expect the second lap to go quicker. Just got slightly out of shape here. Corrected the understeer and lost a little bit of time, but not too much. Incidentally, Kelvin Van Der Linde yesterday said after the race, with the weight on the car for the race, 25 kilograms, we expect that to be about 0.3 of a second per lap. There's Philippe Ellis, who had some braking issues with the car yesterday, which is why he qualified a little bit out of position, but made another of his demon starts and was running up in and around a podium position for the first half of the race. They had a good pit stop, but had to hold the car slightly to allow Liam Lawson to come through and avoid an unsafe release. So Lucas Auer, his teammate, in front of him. And subsequently, when Danny Hungadale made his stop a couple of laps later, Philip got stuck behind him, and that rather ruined his tyres. But he still came home with another points finish. He's still in with a chance of the championship. Kelvin Van Der Linde with the fastest first sector so far, 21.63, but they will get probably about half a second quicker than that if the track is as quick as it was yesterday. Right, Dev Gore He was off in free practice on Friday, got damage to the car yesterday, said he was suffering really heavy tyre degradation. Managed to get the car home. It was the only Team Rosberg car that finished because, unfortunately for Nico Muller, his bad luck continued. And the Swiss driver ultimately retired with drive shaft problem. Marvin Dietz has gone second for now with a 138.889. But Kelvin Van Der Linde is about to set the new benchmark time. Arjun Mainy's car repaired, he's back out there as well, but he's around about 4/10 down on Kelvin Van Der Linde's lap. You're on board with the championship leader now then, Kelvin Van Der Linde, coming through the final sector, about to make his way through turn 17. The final corner at Sudkurva, takes to the curbs, goes over the line right behind Alex Albon, crosses the line and goes to the top of the times with a 138.340. So ahead of Auer by 0.3 of a second. Nico Muller has put a decent lap in, and Arjun Mainy, we saw him on a pretty good lap. He's just finished that and gone third with a 138.820. Marvin Dietz is impressed this weekend. His first weekend of DTM, the ex-German Formula 4 champion, is up there as well. Sparks fly on the super slow-mo replay. And Arjun Mainy's get-speed Mercedes as he bottoms out on the curbs. Marvin Dietz on a personal best first sector, but still down on the overall times. He's fourth at the moment, though, and just over half a second adrift. And now Marco Wittmann puts in the absolute best first sector time. They found something with the setup of the BMW at Volkenhorst. They enjoyed success yesterday in the DTM Trophy with a victory for Theo Uverhaus, the 16-year-old who won at Aston a couple of weeks ago in the BMW Cup and was a winner for Team Volkenhorst yesterday. But in DTM, it's been a struggle so far. But Marco Wittmann, who's already up to 5th place on a demon lap here with a 21.56 first sector time. We're still nowhere near as quick as we were yesterday. All the drivers improving at the moment. Nico Muller's on a pretty good lap as well. He's currently in 7th place. The middle sector is the longer sector. It takes around 44, 45 seconds. Sector 1 is 21, and sector 3, which takes in the last arena section, is around about 30 to 31 seconds. 45.8 for Marco Wittmann. That's a personal best. He's 2/10 down in the middle sector, and he's fractionally up in the first sector, so should be the top 2, top 3 time for Marco Wittmann. It could be the fastest time if he nails the final sector in the Volkenhorst BMW. The green and white machine just making its way out through turns 16 and 17 now. Gets a neat run through there, takes the inside curve, lets it drift out wide, sprints for the line. Where's it going to put him? Should be top 3. No, not quite. 4th place, 138.56 by 14 thousandths of a second. He misses out on the top 3. And what would be a potential really important championship point. He could do with closing the gap after that non-points round yesterday. Van der Linde in, quickest driver so far by almost 2/10 of a second. And we've got Nico Muller having got up to 2nd place now, so Audi's 1st and 2nd, with Arjun Mainy 3rd in the Mercedes, Marco Wittmann 4th in the BMW. Super slow-mo of the cars running through shot. Lovely shot that. Might be a little bit grey and overcast out there, but still art to be found. Right, Arjun Mainy on another good lap. 100th down, though, on Nico Muller, who's slightly quicker through the first sector. And Marco Wittmann, although it's not a personal best first sector, it's only 400ths away from his best, which was the best first sector time. So all three looking like decent laps so far. 45.67 through the middle sector. That is only fractionally behind the absolute best of 45.63, I think it was, by Lucas Auer. So Nico Muller is coming close here to matching his best time, which has already put him 2nd. Can he shave a little bit more time off and get closer to Kelvin Van Der Linde? The target time is a 138.340. Here comes Nico then, running way out wide as he commits to the final corner. Over the line he charges, and he does it to the top of the times, 138.22. So he's found 2/10 as a really good final sector, the best so far, the first one to break the 31-second barrier. And Marco Wittmann continues his improvement. He goes 3rd with that lap, 138.495. Audi, BMW at the moment. But as they were yesterday, the Mercedes are not far away. Arjun Mainy 4th, Lucas Auer 5th, Marvin Dietz in 6th. Dev Gore going well, 7th place so far in his Team Rosberg Audi. Team boss Kimo Limitano will be very happy with what's going on so far. And Esme Hawkey in 8th place, looking for her best qualifying so far in the T3 Motorsport Lamborghini. Mike Rockenfeller is already into the top 10, so it's already looking better than yesterday. He's just done a 139.732, but has just done the absolute best first sector time. I asked Kelvin yesterday if he was going to buy Mike a drink of his choice after He took that third place away from Liam on the last lap. He said, I'll buy him too. And here we go. Mike Rockenfeller might be in a good position to help him in the race again. 21.42. He's a 10th up on anybody through the first sector. But this long second sector coming out of 6 into turn 7. They're taking turns 8, 9 and 10 before you get to the end of this sector, which roughly equates to half the lap time. So this is the one you've got to absolutely get right. Those new tyres worked beautifully on the car yesterday once he'd made his pit stop. Much more of an advantage here at Hockenheim than other circuits, and maybe because of the traction that you need out of the slow corners like turn 6 at Spitzkehre, where he was very, very quick. Now 45.83, he's 2 tenths down in the middle sector on the absolute best. So around about a 10th up in sector 1, about 2 tenths down in sector 2, so it's about a 10th away at the moment, which would potentially put him on the front row of the grid. Certainly top 3, as long as the final lap is, final sector rather, is nailed. He's got the track to himself because most of the cars are in the pits now. He comes out through turn 17 at Sudcurver. It's neat and tidy, uses the curbs, but doesn't go too wide. So it's going to be a good lap this from Mike Rockenfeller, and he goes straight to the top of the times. 138.111. Again, nailed the final sector. Absolute best, 30.8. So all the time he'd lost in the middle sector, he made up and then some at the end of the lap. So 3 Audis up there. Rockenfeller first, Muller second, Van Der Linde third. At the halfway stage, then we got Marco Wittmann, a surprise 4th. Arjun Maini 5th, qualified 5th yesterday. Lucas Auer, who was on the front row yesterday, 6th. Remember, he's got no weight in the car for the race today. Marvin Dean 7th. Dev Gore looking for a season's best 8th. Likewise, Esme Hawkey in 9th. Lucas de Grassi going better in this session in 10th place. Alex Albon only 11th at the moment. Hubert Haupt had a drive-through penalty yesterday, is 12th. Then it's Danny Hunkadeu, qualified 4th yesterday.
Okay, we can go.
As Liam Lawson is released out. See the championship points bottom right of your screen. So Danny only 13th at the moment for the Hong Kong-based Grupper M racing team. Then you got Max Gotts, 14th championship contender. Needs a better lap. Timo Glock 15th. Vincent Abril, he's next in 16th. Sophia Florsch. Then, finally, we get to Liam Lawson, who's in 18th place at the moment. Philip Ellis, another quick driver that you'd expect to move higher up the order, in 19th. Esteban Moot, likewise, only 20th. And we've seen Sheldon van der Linde hovering around the car in the garage at the start of the session. He still hasn't got into the car, hasn't been out at all. So I wonder if this is a hangover from yesterday's problem with the car. Sheldon's run of misfortune seems to be continuing. At the moment, it's going to be starting plumb last. Rocky, another good attempt here, another good lap it will be, and a 137.94. He squeezes a little bit more time out of the car. He's running slightly out of sequence with everybody else. So, absolute best first and third sectors, and now that puts him almost 3 tenths up. He's never won here at Hockenheim. He's had a load of podiums, loves the track. He's had some of his best drives here, and the team need him up there. And Mike yesterday in the press conference announced that this is going to be his last season with Audi in the DTM. Now, he didn't say necessarily in the DTM. He didn't entirely rule it out, but he said, you know, I don't see my future with Audi. Been here for 15 years. I was with Porsche for 5 years before that. I've loved my time, but I see my future elsewhere. And, well, he didn't entirely rule out DTM, but he did say, good chance I won't be back in DTM, and expressed some interest in going back to concentrating on endurance racing. Former Le Mans winner, of course. So can he bow out in style? He's got his family here to support him this weekend. He says, whenever they come, I do well. And at the moment, Rocky is on provisional pole. Yeah, of course, the team watch on. At the moment, the only championship contender that's going to score a point in this session is Kelvin Van Der Linde, who is 3rd. And he would move 1 point clear in the championship lead of Liam Lawson if it stays like this. On board with Max Gotts, he really needs to dig deep now. 14th place. He hasn't. It's not that the car has been off the pace; just hasn't got a lap in yet. It's 2.9 seconds away. There are a lot of drivers like that as well that haven't been able to get a proper lap in yet. Lawson, Ellis, Moot, Abril, Hunkadeu. I think we're going to see some big changes in this final 5 minutes of the session. Right, Van der Linde, Sheldon Van der Linde back out on track, and a fairly decent first sector as well. Still really building up the speed, but 22.71 shows that the car at least is working. He won't be going for it until the next lap and the one after. He's going to have 2 flying laps, I reckon, at it, but at least he's got a chance of moving up. He backs off again. Gets the flashing headlights of the Mercedes in the background to say, go out the way, I'm ready to go. but then starts to pull the trigger and build up the speed as he comes out of turn 13 and heads towards turn 16. So Kelvin Van Der Linde, well, he's got time for 3 laps if he can. But Mike Rockenfeller, will he get out again? He's not going to have much time if he does, or is that it? I think that might be it. Yeah, done my job, laid down the gauntlet. So slightly different strategy in terms of how they've run that qualifying session for Rocky. Not the first time that Abt have tried something slightly unusual, and for now it's working. Can't go any quicker than that, says Rocky. Might as well save the car and save the tyres. 1:37.940 the time to beat. Well, the track is much slower than yesterday. Not even as quick as free practice 2 times at the moment. But we'll see. 4 minutes and 10 seconds is a long time in DTM. On board with Max Scott's. Nobody yet lighting the timing screens up with green sector times for personal bests or purple sector times for absolute bests. But you get the sense it's coming. Right, Kelvin Van Der Linde, this is his first proper lap then. And a 21.69 through the first sector is okay. It's 2 tenths down on the best. He hasn't had any running of the car yet. So good news that Rover got him back out there at least to try and progress up the order. And on the next lap that he'll really look to push, but surely others are going to improve. Muller is still in the pits as well, so first and second in the session don't look like they're going back on circuit. Certainly Rockenfeller we've seen getting out of the car. Muller still in the pits. Dev Gore is still in the pits for Team Rosberg as well, but he's in 8th place. And absolute best first sector time for Liam Lawson, who still hasn't put a proper time in yet. 18th, but we know he's got the car to be in the top 3. We know the driver's got the pace to be in the top 3. And if he can get in the top 3 or 4 on the grids with a light car with no ballast for race 2 this afternoon, he's going to be a real threat for a race win. So Liam Lawson, good start to the lap. It's the middle sector that is key. Kelvin Van Der Linde is not far behind him either. 0.05 of a second adrift with a 21.43. That's a personal best. Kelvin Van Der Linde goes 6th at his first attempt, which is impressive. Absolute best middle sector for Arjun Maini. His best qualifying so far is 3rd on the grids at the Red Bull Ring. And then you've got an absolute best middle sector, even quicker than that, by 300ths for Liam Lawson. So Arjun Maini is going to threaten for a provisional pole position, but behind him, Lawson's going quicker. And we've also got a good lap here for Lucas Auer, who's done the absolute best middle sector now. Right, Arjun Maini comes through, goes to the top of the times. Provisional pole position for the driver from India, 1:37.513. And through comes Liam Lawson then, attacking that final corner. This could be provisional pole position if he's nailed the final sector time. Not quite, 2nd place. He goes, Lucas Auer, what about him? Over the line, he goes to the top of the time. So Lucas Auer, 1:37.479 seconds. 3 different drivers within 10 seconds getting onto the front row of the grid. Kelvin Van Der Linde, 4th. It's his best lap of the session, 1:37.69, but he's 2 tenths away from the absolute best time so far. Philippe is still struggling a bit down the order, trying to get up there, but 2 tenths down in the first sector on this lap. Arjun Maini now goes absolute best in sector 1, 21.36 seconds. First ever Indian driver in DTM. And can he become the first pole sitter from India in DTM? Well, Kelvin Van Der Linde says, no, I want it. I need it. 21.30 seconds for Kelvin, who has been the driver to catch so far this weekend in terms of single lap pace. Danny Hunkadeya improves up to 5th position. It's much more like where we expected him to be. But all eyes on Kelvin Van Der Linde as we go towards the final minute of the session. Here's Esme Hawkey, who's slipped back down the order to 18th now, having been in the top 10 the first half of the session. And Alex Albon, decent first sector time. He's going to move up the order as well. 2nd sector was okay. It's not necessarily going to be for pole position. What about Arjun Maini? Still really pushing as he comes out over the line. 2nd place with that one, 1:37.513, 34,000ths of a second the gap. He gets the gap down. Philippe Ellis comes through and makes a big improvement up to 8th place. And here comes Liam Lawson on his next attack lap to come through and over the line. Doesn't improve, 3rd place, but Lucas Auer's time still the one to beat, 1:37.49. Now Kelvin Van Der Linde backed off in the middle sector. Started the lap well, but he's backed off in the middle sector to try and maybe get one more lap. Where is he on the circuit? Has he got time to come through? Yes, he has. He comes out of the final turn, just about. 12 seconds on the clock. He's got one more attempt here, Kelvin. He's got a clear track in front of him. Timo Glock, Sophia Florsch come through as well. He's got 5 seconds left on the clock. Alex Albon, we saw him on a good lap. That put him 6th. Checkered flag now comes out. So this is it. Lucas Auer provisionally on pole, Hockenheimring second, Liam Lawson now the only key championship contender that's in the points. Going to get 1 point. That would move him back into the championship lead. You've got Kelvin Van Der Linde fourth, but he's just about going to squeeze one more lap in, but will the tyres give him the time? Untitled fifth, Albon sixth, Rockenfeller pushed down to seventh, having not got out for this last part of the session. Gotts, Abril and Wittmann in the top 10. That's on Abril, personal best lap here. She's going to see him up the order. He's ninth currently. Kelvin Van Der Linde, an okay first sector time. Actually, a very good first sector time. It's not personal best, but he's very close to his personal best, which is the best sector one time. So don't give up yet, Kelvin Van Der Linde, because you've still got the potential to improve here through the middle sector. Philip Ellis has done a personal best first sector time. He's dropped just out of the top 10 now, goes across the line. 11th place, 138.3. The tyres wouldn't give him any more. So I'll need another demon start in the race. The championship contender. Alex Albon's improved his lap time again, but stays in sixth position. Kelvin Van Der Linde, 45.4 through the middle sector. So he's only a 10th down. Van Der Linde's definitely got a chance of improving up from fourth. Quite whether he's got the time for pole position or a front row, but he's got a real chance here of at least getting into the top three. Let's see, Kelvin Van Der Linde crosses the line. He's done it. He's gone right to the top of the times, right at the end of the session. How about that? 137.392 by 87 thousandths of a second.
This is a pole position, 37.3. Congratulations.
And that's what it means to him.
Boys, come on! Come on! Yes! Come on!
Intense final lap. Thomas Biermeier, all smiles.
Great 3 points.
And there you go. He's put himself 3 points clear of the championship lead. I think he'd won the race of the championship. He's got pole position, but every point counts this year. Every single point's going to be so close. Great job by him. And again, it was the last sector, mega last sector. He came close to his best. It's the same top two as we had yesterday. Hockenheimring in trouble yesterday, equals his best qualifying performance so far. That came at the Red Bull Ring with third. He's third again.
Oh, fuck, man. I knew we had to do that last lap. I saw in the arena. We were like P4. And fucking hell, man. That was close. But thanks, man. Car was mega again. Thanks so much, guys.
You deserve it.
So there, the thoughts of Kelvin Van Der Linde. Apologies for the fruity language, but he's quite chuffed, as you can imagine. He said that I saw the time in the arena, so he was looking outside the car. I saw I was only fourth. I knew I had to really go for it. And what a lap it was, 137.392 on a track which was trickier than yesterday, and 87 thousandths of a second, which is not even in the top three closest times that we've had this year. That's how tight it has been in qualifying. So it's Kelvin Van Der Linde, 3 absolutely critical points and pole position. Lucas Auer, can his luck turn today from second on the grid? Hockenheimring third, Liam Lawson, he's thereabouts though, and with no weight on the car, remember, in fourth place. Danny Hockenheimring having a good weekend, fifth place. Alex Albon, one of his better qualifying sessions in sixth. He could be a real contender as well, but he's got some success ballast on the car after yesterday's second place finish. Mike Rockenfeller in seventh. The Ab Fan Club is here. They'll probably be out next weekend as well at Nuremberg. And then Mike Rockenfeller, who was on provisional pole position, seventh place. Maxi Gotts in eighth, Vincent Abril ninth, and Marco Wittmann, bit better, but not great, 10th place for him. Philip Ellis 11th, Esteban Moot in 12th, Nico Muller 13th, 5 places lower than yesterday. Sheldon Van Der Linde at least got the car out, but 14th place. I suppose he's better than 21st. Not where he wants to be, though. Timo Glock 15th, Esme Hawkey 16th, ahead of Sophia Florschin 17th. Marvin Dietz back in 18th this time. Lucas de Grassi 19th, Dev Gore and Hubert Hout 20th and 21st. So that's the final qualifying session of the weekend here at Hockenheim. The race to come this afternoon. It's going to be Kelvin Van Der Linde on pole, but with a heavy car of 25 kilograms on board. Lucas Auer yesterday started the race with 25 kilograms from second. Today he starts from the same spot but with no success ballast on board. And Hockenheimring from third will be looking to get through this corner this time without troubles if he can at the start of the race. It was pretty frenetic yesterday. So there, your top three, covered all three of them by just over a tenth of a second. Bit more like the Lucas Auer we're used to seeing now, all smiley and happy. He was, as you can imagine, a bit grumpy yesterday, understandably so, which you don't see very often. You don't see an angry Lucas all that often. Right, here he comes, out of the car. Another pole position, his 5th of the season, and 3 points. Max Gotts thereabouts again, not quite in there, is he, in 8th place. Don't rule him out just yet. who's so consistent, and a pumped-up Kelvin Van Der Linde congratulated. And heading straight for the team. Has to get weighed first, though. Add the weight of the driver to the car, make sure he's above the minimum. As his brother Sheldon walking back, having had a bit of a scare that he might not get out in qualifying, but at least they know the car's running now. Arjun Maini and Liam Lawson had interesting races yesterday, but super quick again from Arjun. And they're good to see. Really is a lot of respect between the drivers in this championship. It's ultra competitive on track, but it's good sportsmanship all the way through the grid. So, update of the points. 3 more for Kelvin Van Der Linde. Was already just about the championship leader. He's now definitely the championship leader with 3 points, though, being absolutely minimal gap. 81 points still available. Liam Lawson, 188. Marco Wittmann stays on 165. Max Scotts doesn't gain a point either. It's only Kelvin Van Der Linde from the championship contenders that extends his points score. Right, Arjun Maini, 3rd place, equaling his best qualifying so far, and what's his first season of DTM. The Get Speed Mercedes team done a good job to get the car repaired. Likewise, Winwood have done a good job to get this car repaired after it was involved in that incident. So the 2 cars that came together yesterday at turn 6 are going to be together on the grid, 2nd and 3rd. Maini 3rd, our 2nd, but Kelvin Van Der Linde right at the end of the session dug very, very deep to get pole position by 87 thousandths of a second. You saw the reaction, you heard the reaction, and after a difficult couple of weekends, he's back on form. There's Dad Sean to the right, Mon Bernie to the left, and there they pose the top 3 for photos. We'll get to hear from them momentarily as well, with Verena. So Kelvin in the middle, Lukey to the left, and Liam to the right, as ever slurping from the Red Bull can. As I say, he can concentrate on DTM for this final part of the season with his Formula 2 duties on ice for now. Final 2 rounds of that championship don't take part to December, so it's going to be a very long season for him with these 2 championships, in which he's acquitted himself very well. And as ever, a smiley Kelvin Van Der Linde. The smile is back. Right, let's get some reaction from the drivers. Down with Verena.
And now I've got Liam Lawson here, who is actually, he was P4, but now he is P3 because Arjun Maini is 5 places dropped back in the race because of the collision yesterday. So does that mean, what does that mean in regards to the championship and your points now if you're starting in P3?
Thanks Arjun for the 3 points. Obviously it's not ideal for him. But yeah, it's an extra place for us. Although honestly, with the way the starts were yesterday, being on the inside in the turn 1 is not ideal because everybody just goes off the track and overtakes you. But it's okay. It's good to grab that point. We need to make the most of having no waste in the car now. Obviously, Kelvin's got the success ballast, so for the race today, we need to try and move forwards and yeah, do the best job we can.
And obviously, the race, I mean, the difference between you two is just minimal. So anything from here is possible. 3 more races to go, and I'm sure you're going to attack full on. Yeah,
we'll be pushing very hard. I think this weekend we've been doing the maximum. I think to have I don't think anyone's got pole twice in a weekend, so they clearly have some extra speed this weekend that we can't compete with. But in the races we're gonna try to do our best. Obviously, like I said, he's got the weight in the car, so hopefully we can take advantage of that.
All right, Liam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And wow, these guys are really making it so super exciting. And they're going to do an interview now, so we need to wait. And here, yeah, back to the commentator for us. No, actually, we've got Lucas Auer now, who is in P2, and it's the 5th time that he's actually in the top 3. So, hey, Luki, good to see you here. And yeah, so P2 for you. So, what are you going to do in the race?
First of all, big thanks to my mechanics for getting the car ready. It was a long night for them, and well, I have nothing to lose. I will go for the win. I'm sure you will. Thank you so much, Luki.
Cheers. And yeah, that's it from us for the moment. I'm going to wait for Kelvin, and here's your commentator.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Good to hear from 2 of our podium finishers. Hopefully we'll grab a word with Kelvin Van Der Linde shortly. And hear from him after his latest pole position, which garnered those 3 championship points. So he's on fire this weekend, and the car, the team, have really delivered a great package for him. But I've got to say, he's made the most of it. Pole position at Monza, pole position at Zolder, pole position at the Nürburgring. Then nothing in terms of top 3s at Red Bull Ring or Assen, but he's had a double pole position here this weekend, and the first driver to do that actually this season, the first driver to get pole position in both races across the course of a weekend. So 6 valuable championship points. That now puts him on to 17 points scored from qualifying, so that's 1 point away from being the equivalent of a second place finish. So you see then just how important this begins to be. Right, that's it from me, Chris Hartley, in the commentary box, but we're going to hand back to Verena now. I think has managed to catch hold of our pole sitter.
Yes, and here is Kelvin Van Der Linde, who is the pole setter, and a big grin in his face because you're doing so well. You've now got 191 points, and I guess the main aim is you're ahead of Liam, so you're hopefully going to be able to extend your lead even more in the race.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, definitely, but you know, that was one of those quali laps. They're just extra special because you know you have to nail in that one lap. I was P4, P5. I saw in the big screen in the Sachs curve, I was not even in the top 3, and I knew only one lap. But obviously, you know, all the guys from Audi are watching you, and that one lap you feel alone in the world, but to pull that off, that's why I'm so happy. It's just amazing.
We're looking forward to a very exciting race. Thank you so much. He certainly nailed it, and it's going to be an exciting race, that's for sure. You do not want to miss it. And now here are the highlights. See you later for the race. Bye-bye.
Du hast einen riesen Applaus von der